Okay, let's dive right in. We're going to be looking at a project that promises total, complete privacy for basically everything you do online. We're talking transactions, messages, you name it. But its name has also gotten tangled up with some pretty serious scam alerts. So today, we're doing a full investigation into Beldex. And this is really the central question we need to tackle, isn't it? Is Beldex a legitimate, maybe even revolutionary privacy project? Or is there something more dangerous going on right below the surface? Let's break it all down. So first up, let's look at what Beldex wants to be. The promise here is, well, it's huge. We're talking about a full ecosystem that's built from the ground up with privacy as the default setting, not just some optional feature you can turn on. At its heart, this is the mission. And we're not just talking about private payments here. Beldex is really aiming to be an entire private layer for Web3. It uses some pretty advanced tech, like ring confidential transactions and stealth addresses, to hide the sender, the receiver, and even the amount in every single transaction. Now, what's really interesting is how this whole ecosystem is designed to work together. You've got bchat for messaging that no one else can read, Belnet, which acts as a decentralized VPN, a browser that blocks all the annoying trackers by default, and even a name service so you don't have to deal with those long, crazy private addresses. It's meant to be an all-in-one privacy suite. And the BDX token? Well, that's the fuel that makes this whole machine run. You use it to pay for services like the VPN. You can stake it in a masternode, which helps keep the network secure, and hey, you earn rewards for it. It gives you a vote in how the project is run, and a little piece of the fees get burned, which over time could reduce the total supply. All right, so that's the big dream. That's the promise. But what's the reality? Let's get our feet back on the ground and look at the actual market data to see where Beldex really stands today. Okay, so looking at the numbers, you can see the price is hovering around that 7 to 8 cent mark. It's ranked just outside the top 200 projects globally, and it's got a market cap of around $500 million. But check out that circulating supply. It's a big one, at over 7.5 billion BDX. So what does all that mean? Well, with a market cap in the hundreds of millions, Beldex is definitely not some tiny small cap project. But at the same time, it hasn't really broken into that top tier of crypto projects with massive liquidity and widespread adoption. It's kind of stuck in this very competitive middle ground. To really understand how it got here, we need to rewind the clock a little bit. Because, the Beldex of today looks quite a bit different from how it started out. See, Beldex started out with some really strong privacy tech, inspired by Monero. But the huge shift happened back in 2021 when it moved over to a proof-of-stake model that uses masternodes. Now, this wasn't just some tech upgrade. It was a major strategic pivot. It was a signal that they were moving away from just being a private coin to trying to become the entire infrastructure for private decentralized apps. Okay, we've seen the promise, we've looked at the reality. Now we have to talk about the peril. This is the part of our explainer where we have to look at the serious risks and the very real warnings that have popped up around this project. And I really want to pause here for a second because this is where we have to be absolutely crystal clear. The information on these next few slides is probably the most critical stuff for anyone even thinking about Beldex. So there are 3 main risks that are just part of the project itself. First, regulatory pressure is a huge shadow hanging over all privacy coins. Second, like we saw earlier, that super high token supply can create constant downward pressure on the price. And third, while the whole dApp ecosystem sounds great on paper, let's be honest, bchat and Belnet just haven't seen mass adoption yet. But now we have to make a crucial distinction. And this is arguably the single most important warning of all. It is absolutely vital not to confuse the official, legitimate Beldex project with other platforms that are just using its name. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you have the official project, the core blockchain, the real dApps, or staking happens through official masternodes. But on the other side, you've got these fraudulent, totally unaffiliated platforms, sites like Armin.com or Nexus.vin, that have used the Beldex brand to push these sketchy, high-yield schemes and have been called out as scams. They are not the same thing, not even close. So when you take all of this into account, the good, the bad, and the ugly, what does the future actually hold? Let's try to map out 3 possible scenarios for where Beldex could go from here. So, in a bullish world, those privacy apps actually take off. People start using them, and that drives real demand for the BDX token.
Then there's a more stable, middle-of-the-road scenario, where Beldex finds its place in some niche markets that really value privacy. But then you have the bearish scenario, where regulators crack down hard and nobody really uses the apps, causing the whole project to just stagnate. Ultimately, when you strip away all the hype and the speculation, it all boils down to this one question. Can Beldex break into real-world markets? Think secure communications for businesses or truly private browsing for activists, where privacy isn't just a nice feature, but a fundamental, absolute need.
And that leaves us with a much bigger question, one that goes way beyond just Beldex and really hits the entire space. What do you think? Is this whole push for total privacy in Web3 an unstoppable force, something that's just an indispensable part of our future? Or will projects like this ultimately fail to compete against the immense pressure of global regulation? It's definitely something to think about.